Katherine Beck Johnson. Do we have Katherine? We are calling an audible here. Okay. In our next conversation, we're going to talk about the way that the abortion industry is responding to what the Supreme Court has done with the leaked Dobbs decision. And as you know, not only churches, not only pro-life facilities around the country, but in fact, the Supreme Court justices themselves have been targeted so far peacefully. We hope it remains that way. There have been reports of threats, but no threats acted upon. But there are people certainly protesting at the home of Supreme Court justices in an attempt, undeniably, to influence their ultimate decision in that case. Now, the judicial branch, of course, is supposed to be the third, the independent, the non-political branch. And there are statutes in federal law that prohibit activists from trying to do things that would influence judges in the decisions that they are making. So the question that legal scholars are wrestling with right now is, what are these activists allowed to do outside the home of a Supreme Court justice? Is it legal, or is it illegal coercion or an attempted influence? And to help us answer that question, we are going to bring in Katherine Beck Johnson. Katherine, thanks for jumping on in short notice.
Thanks so much for having me, Joseph. It's always great to be on with you.
Well, tell us what you're learning, this conversation within the legal community. What are pro-abortion protesters allowed to do outside the home of a Supreme Court justice, and what are they not allowed to do?
Yeah, there's certainly First Amendment protections for people to speak freely. However, like any protection, like any liberty, it's not unlimited. So you can't say, oh, in the name of my religion, I can kill somebody. Similarly, in the free speech realm, you can't just go and intimidate, harass a Supreme Court justice outside of their home. And this is being done particularly to influence the justices in their opinion, in their Dobbs opinion. And that is just especially wrong for them to be doing. And the First Amendment stops at their ability to intimidate and interfere with the justices' right to freely do their job.
Katherine, we do value the right to the free expression of ideas and free speech. And that is the baseline from which we're starting this conversation. But at what point does someone's constitutionally protected expression, perhaps holding a sign saying, support Roe versus Wade, or, my body, my choice, at what point does it cross the line between simply being an expression of an idea that's constitutionally protected to being interpreted by the law as an attempt to influence?
Well, you're right. Nobody is telling these pro-abortion activists that they can't be on public land with their signs, peacefully assembling and protesting. They have every right to do that. The First Amendment protects them from doing that. Now, the federal law states that once they cross that line, once they have the intent of interfering with, obstructing, or impeding the administration of justice with the intent of influencing any judge in the discharge of his duty, you cannot picket near a judge's residence. That's very clearly established. So once they are going to the justices' homes, outside of their homes, interfering with their ability to freely live their life and do their job, is when they have gone too far. And I would say where it very clearly now is crossed the line of peacefully assembling and protesting to interfering and intimidating a justice by going to their personal residence, especially when they have their families here. Some of them have young children. This has very clearly crossed the line.
Yet we have not seen the Justice Department do anything about this. Do we think perhaps the Justice Department would be more inclined to get involved if this was, say, a school board member?
I think that's right. I think it's very clear that President Biden and his administration is very interested in pandering to the far left, to the extreme woke, and that base demands abortion on demand without apology by any means necessary. And so the left very clearly doesn't have respect for norms, even for the law at times, and it's just their result by any means necessary. And I think that they just view this protest this interference with the justices' lives, this intimidation tactic, as another way to get the result that they want.
Well, we do hope that the Justice Department will get involved. We know that Congress, of course, has gotten involved in this as well, trying to offer additional protection to Supreme Court justices. Unfortunately, in the times that we live in, it does seem necessary. And of course, we pray for peace and that there will be no violence that needs to be stopped. But Katherine, thank you so much for jumping on quickly and being with us today and updating us.
Thanks for having me, Joseph.